Actually, you would think that I had been the type of person who would have obsessed over the idea of a wedding my whole life, but I actually never thought about what I would ever do or what I would want until I met the person.
That one's going to be easy. I just got to figure out if I win a football game first.
I'm doing the album thing now, which is a big thing.
Yes.
And then I think the wedding is what happens after that. In the scheme of the...
We're talking guest lists that read like the Grammys collided with the Super Bowl, fashion designers on standby for what's already being called the dress of the decade, and enough speculation to power 1,000 TikToks. Fans are dissecting every lyric, every public outing, every sly look exchanged across a football field as if it's coded Morse. Even the cities rumored to host the wedding, Nashville, Kansas City, maybe even Paris, have turned into fan pilgrimage sites. But beneath all the glitter and gridiron romance, there's something undeniably cinematic about this moment. It's not just two megastars tying the knot, it's the merging of two cultural empires. Taylor, the master storyteller who can turn heartbreak into a #1 hit, and Travis, the larger-than-life athlete who treats game day like a stage. Together, they're blurring the line between sport and spectacle, music and myth. And as the countdown to I Do inches closer, everyone's wondering, will this be the ultimate love story or the most overexposed event in pop culture history? That one sentence, barely a whisper between laughter and applause, was all it took to send the internet into a full-blown frenzy. Within minutes, clips of Taylor's comment were trending across every platform imaginable. Fans zoomed in on her smile, slowed down the footage, analyzed the way she said after that, like it was a secret message from the Queen herself. Graham tried to move on to the next question, but the damage was done. Swifties had their headline, and then came the decoding. Was she confirming the engagement? Was there a hidden lyric on the life of a showgirl that spelled out the wedding date? Did that sparkle in her eyes mean it was happening sooner than anyone thought? Every angle, every camera flash, every word she spoke that night became part of a growing puzzle. What was supposed to be a casual plug for her album became the unofficial soft launch of the wedding of the century.
Doing the album thing now, which is a big thing.
Yes.
And then I think the wedding is what happens after that. In the scheme of the planning. You know, I'm so excited about
The album's final track. Travis showed up at Electric Lady Studios. Bouquet in hand, ring in pocket, heart on sleeve. The story goes that he waited until she played the last note, then told her he wanted to be part of every song she ever wrote after that. Cue the collective meltdown. Reporters called it cinematic, fans called it divine timing. And even Taylor's team admitted that not a single person in the studio made it out without crying. And because this is Taylor we're talking about, she didn't waste the moment. Within hours, she posted a grainy black and white photo of the two of them in the studio, her in headphones, him in a Chiefs cap, with the caption, Track 13, yes. The internet imploded. Engagement confirmed. Era reborn. And that's the thing about Travis Kelce, he doesn't do halfway. On his New Heights podcast in August, he revealed he'd literally had an entire garden constructed behind his house just for the proposal. We're talking archways, roses, fairy lights, the full Nicholas Sparks treatment. Taylor later called it a 10 out of 10, and honestly, that feels like an understatement. If there were a world record for most over-the-top but perfectly romantic proposal, this would shatter it. But what really melted fans wasn't just the grandeur, it was the intention. Every flower, every light, every song playing in the background was apparently handpicked by Travis himself. As one insider joked, he planned it like he was running a 2-minute drill. But for her heart,
I'm sort of nervous about the podcast. He's like, my heart is racing. I know how much this means to you. Like, really want this to be what you hoped it would be. Because we've been talking about doing the podcast and announcing the album.
Yeah.
And he's like, my heart's racing. And I've never seen this dude nervous.
But here's where it gets really interesting. Taylor admitted she'd never actually thought about weddings before meeting Travis. During an interview with the UK's Heart Radio in October 2025, she opened up about how, despite writing some of the most iconic love songs of her generation, she'd never been one to dream about her own big day. You'd think I'd have been the type of person who obsessed over the idea of a wedding my whole life, she said with a laugh. But I actually never thought about what I'd want or what I'd do until I met the person. It's such a classic Taylor moment. Honest, unexpected, and deeply romantic. The woman who spent years turning heartbreak into art is now talking about commitment not as a fantasy, but as something real, grounded, and personal. It's less love story, more, this is the chapter after the credits roll.
You would think that I had been the type of person who would have obsessed over the idea of a wedding my whole life, but I actually never thought about what I would ever do or what I would want until I met the person. Like, it's like then, so I haven't actually even thought about it.
And that, my friends, is the kind of romantic revelation that makes even the most cynical among us believe in destiny again. Travis Kelce, meanwhile, is balancing all this wedding buzz with his trademark mix of humor and grounded confidence. During an appearance on his New Heights podcast, Jimmy Fallon playfully asked the question on everyone's mind, DJ or live band? Without missing a beat, Travis grinned and said, I think we're live music kind of people. Then, flashing that signature Kelce charm, he added, that one's going to be easy. I just got to figure out winning football games first. Classic. It's exactly the kind of energy that defines them. Taylor dreaming in lyrics, and Travis living in punchlines.
Are you got to do DJ or band? Are you thinking about all this stuff?
Yeah, I think we're live music kind of people, you know? So,
I've seen you perform. You have to.
That one's going to be easy. I just got to figure out if I win a football game first.
Which, if we're being honest, makes perfect sense. Travis has always known how to keep his priorities straight. And when your fiancé is Taylor Swift, even NFL pressure probably feels like a warm-up compared to wedding logistics. Taylor also dropped a tiny but world-shaking hint that it'll be a destination wedding. Naturally, that one phrase sent fans and tabloids into full detective mode. Are we talking a sun-drenched island? A moody Scottish castle? Maybe an ultra-private coastal estate where no paparazzi drone dares to fly? Knowing Taylor, it'll be something cinematic, somewhere that feels like it belongs only to her and Travis, at least for a few enchanted days. And of course, when it comes to the music, the expectations are sky high. Taylor playfully hinted that Ed Sheeran might be performing, joking that it would be nearly impossible to keep him away from the stage. That's the fun thing about our friendship, she said. We both love performing, we both love writing, and we both love singing. Can you imagine Ed Sheeran serenading Taylor and Travis during their vows? Honestly, the mental image alone could melt the internet. And honestly, that sounds exactly like her. Taylor Swift has never been one for tiny anything, not when it comes to albums, tours, or apparently weddings. If she says it's going to be huge, you can bet it'll make the royal weddings look like backyard brunches. She told Graham Norton she's skipping the stress of cutting the guest list entirely, saying, the only stressful weddings are the ones where you have a small amount and people are on the bubble. I'm not going to do that. It's going to be fun. Translation, expect half of Hollywood, every pop star with a guitar, and at least one NFL locker room in attendance. And because this is Taylor Swift, even her definition of fun probably includes themed decor, custom cocktails inspired by her eras, and maybe a secret after-party that spawns a whole new album. With that kind of setup, it's not just a wedding, it's shaping up to be the cultural event of 2026.
I know it's going to be fun to plan because I think the only stressful weddings are the ones where you have a small amount and people are on the bubble. You have to evaluate or assess your relationship with them to see if they should be there.
And honestly, it sounds exactly like something she'd do. A mix of fairy tale extravagance and pure power move. Sources close to the venue say Taylor's team handled the situation with grace and a checkbook the size of a small country's GDP. The couple who originally booked the date reportedly accepted the offer without hesitation because who turns down an all-expenses-paid dream wedding and honeymoon courtesy of Taylor Swift? The story went viral almost immediately, sparking headlines like, Taylor buys a wedding to make room for her own. Some fans called it iconic, others called it excessive, but everyone agreed it was peak Taylor. Decisive, dramatic, and always in control of her own narrative. And it doesn't stop there. Word is, Taylor plans to transform the Breakers into a multi-day celebration, a weekend of music, fashion, and romance, complete with a seaside pre-party, midnight performances, and a post-wedding brunch inspired by her lover-era aesthetic. If even half of that's true, we're about to witness one of the most lavish celebrity weddings in modern history, a blend of heart, spectacle, and storytelling that only Taylor Swift could pull off.
One of my friends' friends is getting married at in Rhode Island on June 13th, 2026. The venue called her and said someone is willing to buy you out of your date. She said, no, I don't want to switch my date. They called her back and said they're willing to pay for her entire wedding and honeymoon to have this date. So they said yes and think it might be Taylor Swift.
Mystery, especially when it involves Taylor Swift. The online sleuthing has been nothing short of cinematic. Fans dissecting drone footage, analyzing catering deliveries, and even comparing flower orders from local Rhode Island vendors. It's like a full-blown investigation disguised as fandom excitement. Meanwhile, tabloids have been buzzing with claims that Taylor's wedding planner has been spotted in Newport, and that security teams have already scoped the perimeter for what they're calling the event of the decade. But here's the thing, Taylor and Travis have both been incredibly deliberate about what they share. Every post, every hint, every carefully timed interview feels intentional, like they're building their own mythology in real time. And that's what makes this story so addictive. We're not just watching a wedding come together. We're witnessing two people who understand both love and spectacle, turning their relationship into the ultimate modern fairy tale. One headline, one rumor, one perfectly timed moment at a time. When it comes to celebrity weddings, there's always a little mystery. But with Taylor and Travis, it feels like something entirely different. Travis approaches the whole thing with this mix of humor and calm confidence. On his podcast, when someone asked about the wedding plans, he laughed and said, "That one's going to be easy. I just gotta figure out how to win a football game first." And honestly, that's kind of adorable. It's like he already knows the wedding will be amazing because he's planning it with Taylor Swift. That's their whole dynamic in a nutshell. Taylor brings the vision, the magic, the cinematic sparkle, while Travis grounds it all with his playful, easygoing energy. You can almost picture them in full planning mode, sitting at a table scattered with mood boards, fabric swatches, and cake samples. Taylor's probably passionately explaining her theme, while Travis jokes about whether they really need a 10th floral arrangement. They're laughing, debating between a live band or a DJ, quietly plotting surprise performances from friends like Ed Sheeran, and maybe even joking about pulling off a dramatic helicopter entrance. If Taylor's albums are any clue, this wedding won't just be beautiful. It'll have chapters, plot twists, emotional crescendos, and that signature Swiftian sparkle that turns even the simplest moment into a story worth remembering. And then there's the timing. Taylor is currently immersed in the life of a showgirl, breaking